Search and rescue teams in Florida were doubling back to check on tens of thousands of homes and businesses along the Gulf Coast on Monday after completing an initial search of the area ravaged by Hurricane Ian, one of the most powerful storms ever to strike the United States.
We have had people check every address.
Kevin Guthrie, Florida's emergency management director, said the first responders have visited about 45,000 homes and businesses.
We've been to just about every address at least once, and now the CFO's office with his teams are going back and doing a second look at every single location.
Since Ian crashed ashore with winds of 150 miles per hour, at least 85 deaths have been attributed to the storm.
I'm not saying we're not going to find anybody else. I don't want to put that context out there. We may find other people.
More than half of the reported fatalities occurred in coastal Lee County, which includes Fort Myers and Cape Coral. County officials there have come under fire for waiting to evacuate. Despite days of warnings that Hurricane Ian was bearing down on Florida's Gulf Coast, officials in Lee County, the storm's eventual ground zero, issued mandatory evacuation orders on September 27th, one day before it made landfall, while counties to the north ordered evacuations on September 26th, shortly after the National Hurricane Center had forecast a storm surge of 4 to 7 feet. Guthrie on Monday stood by the decisions he said were made by local authorities.
Was there a lack of urgency at that point to move forward with evacuations in these low-lying areas of Fort Myers, Sanibel, and beyond?
Emergency management directors do not have a crystal ball. I believe that Lee County and their administration, to include their emergency management director, fire chiefs, and sheriff, made the best decision they felt was right for their community at that time.
As crews worked to restore power to some 600,000 homes and businesses, Colonel Gene Spalding, head of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, warned residents to stay off the roads.
We still have several roadways that are underwater. Keep in mind that just because the water recedes don't necessarily mean the roadway is safe to travel on.
U.S. property data and analytics company CoreLogic on Friday pegged insured losses for Florida between $28 billion and $47 billion from Hurricane Ian in what could be the costliest storm for the state since Hurricane Andrew in 1992. And while hundreds of people stranded by the storm have been rescued, the death toll is expected to keep rising as search teams reach more areas cut off by floodwaters and debris.